So we made a circle out of a rectangle, but we also have the ellipse tool that we can use to create circles. Let's create a new composition. We'll animate an ellipse. Okay, again, so I'm going to try and get it in the center. This time I'm holding Shift down and drawing out a circle. You can see it's not aligned with the center of the actual shape layer. Hit return and call my shape layer circle. We've got our contents and our transform. We're going to leave our transform properties alone and do all of our animation to the ellipse 1 properties, either in the path or in its transform properties. You can see that I could move the circle into the center there, so it's perfectly aligned. And I'm going to alter the scale. So we'll transform the scale, and so rather than the path size, we'll transform the scale. And I've just added a couple of keyframes for scale there. I'm going to drop that first keyframe's value down to 0 so that my circle pretty much disappears. Alright, and I'll kind of reverse that as the circle moves out of the time period there. I can drop that right down to, oops, don't want to go into negative numbers, down to 0. So we've animated our circle coming up to that point, disappearing again. Alright, at the 1 point mark, I'm going to increase the scale a little bit so that we get a little bit of a bounce there. Cool. Now let's look at adding some easing to smooth that out a little bit. Now I can select all those frames, and I can right click on those frames and go down to the keyframe assistant, easy ease, and you can see that we get those hourglass keyframes now. And if I just render that, you can see that that's got a little bit more of a kind of curve to the movement. And let's have a look at, there's our path, our speed graph. So it can manipulate that if we wanted to. Awesome. Final thing is, let's animate the color of this circle. So over a few different points here, it's going to start off blue, and then it's going to fill color is going to change from blue to maybe red, I suppose. And then finally yellow, keeping it primary. Super good. So we've animated a couple of different types of shapes now, a rectangle and an ellipse. We'll move on to some other shapes in a sec.